Trump is the girls, topless girls, are sitting on Trump's lap, and then a third in which he has a stain on the front of his pants.
That is journalist Michael Wolff describing Jeffrey Epstein photos of Donald Trump. Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. Through the years, Michael Wolff met and interviewed Jeffrey Epstein repeatedly. But Wolff's descriptions now of what he saw and heard from Epstein are causing heartburn in the Trump White House, and for good reason. The images Epstein allegedly showed Wolff are incendiary. On the Court of History podcast published on the Midas Touch YouTube channel, Wolff started by giving some context about his Epstein conversations.
I spoke to him on and off from 2014 through to the Trump campaign, and then the first year of the Trump administration, when I was writing my book, Fire and Fury, in which Epstein became a very, very helpful source, because Epstein and Trump had been the best of friends for almost 15 years.
During one of Wolff's meetings with Epstein after Donald Trump's 2016 election, the journalist said Epstein wanted to show off a few things that Epstein apparently kept in a safe.
At one point, after Trump had been elected, I was sitting talking to Epstein, and he said, "Wait a minute, I got to show you something." And then he went into his safe, and he came out with photographs. They were Polaroids, I think, and he kind of spread them out like playing cards, and it was Trump. I mean, I think there were a dozen of them, and it was Trump with girls of an uncertain age at Epstein's Palm Beach house.
Epstein's Palm Beach house was literally within walking distance of Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago. That's how close Epstein and Trump were in their physical proximity. Another Trump-Epstein connection was obvious from the photographs Wolff saw.
And I remember very vividly 3 of them. There are 2 in which Trump is, the girls, topless girls, are sitting on Trump's lap. And then a third in which he has a stain on the front of his pants, and the girls are kind of pointing at it, sort of bent over, laughing, covering
their mouths.
Yeah, exactly, and pointing. 3 or 4 girls, and those are the ones I specifically remember. And my assumption is that they were in the safe, and I have seen them on other occasions take them out of the safe, and I think it's certainly not unlikely that they were in the safe when the FBI came in after his arrest and took everything from the house, including everything that was in the safe.
In other words, the FBI probably has the Epstein photos of Trump with the topless younger girls and the stain on Donald Trump's pants. Wolff's account of the photographs offers a glimpse of just part of the potential Trump embarrassment in the Epstein files. By all accounts, Donald Trump flew on Epstein's jet, spent time at Epstein's homes, and partied with Jeffrey Epstein. In previously confidential grand jury materials released in 2024, Trump is all over Epstein call logs and flight manifests. The extent of their connections may help explain why Donald Trump is so sensitive and defensive over the Epstein investigation.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
Initially, Trump echoed his attorney general, who said there was nothing further for the public to see in the Epstein files. Now, Donald Trump is saying that if there is anything embarrassing or incriminating, it was made up by Democrats.
It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net.
Well, in that case, the stupid and foolish Republicans falling into the net include members of Donald Trump's own family and his highest profile supporters.
How is it that my father can be convicted of 34 crimes, but no one on Epstein's list has even been brought to light? I'm trying to figure out how that's possible, right, folks? It's almost like they're trying to protect those pedophiles for some reason. I can't imagine why, right?
Where did that whole case go? Where did all the files go? They just went nowhere? No one even believes that.
This stinks. This just reeks.
Something is horribly wrong here.
Pam Bondi needs to be fired.
Bondi's Justice Department decision to squelch the Epstein files generated strong reaction among 7,000 attendees at a recent conservative conference. Laura Ingraham led the crowd.
How many of you are satisfied? You can clap. Satisfied with the results of the Epstein investigation? Clap. How many of you are not satisfied with the results of the investigation?
Donald Trump's claim that the Epstein files are a big Democratic hoax prompted a sharp exchange on this day at the White House press briefing. The reporter asking the question is with Fox News.
Which part of the Epstein hoax is the hoax part?
The president is referring to the fact that Democrats have now seized on this as if they ever wanted transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, which is an asinine suggestion for any Democrat to make. The Democrats had control of this building, the White House, for 4 years, and they didn't do a dang thing when it came to transparency in regards to Jeffrey Epstein and his heinous crimes.
However, it wasn't the Democrats who claimed Jeffrey Epstein ran an international pedophilia ring with global elites and top Democratic leaders and donors. Those conspiracy theories came from MAGA Republicans and were echoed by many people, including now Vice President J.D. Vance and now FBI Director Kash Patel. And the fact is, there were some Democrats a year ago who asked the Biden administration to release all the Epstein files, including those mentioning Donald Trump.
I talked about the Epstein files under the Biden administration. I'm talking about it under the Trump administration. This is a case of the powerful protecting the powerful. We need to have those files released. I also note that the Epstein files that have already been released show that Trump is all over the files. He's in multiple pictures with Jeffrey Epstein. There's multiple videos of Trump with Jeffrey Epstein. There are plane logs of Trump on Epstein's plane. There are statements by Trump about Epstein. There are court pleadings of alleged victims of Epstein naming Trump. So we need to have these Epstein files released.
Release the files, say Democrats. Release the files, say most MAGA Trumpsters. And if the files are released, one journalist, Michael Wolff, believes we may see lewd pictures of Donald Trump surrounded by young topless girls pointing at a stain on Donald Trump's pants. Oh my. By the way, Donald Trump's Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, or ICE, is now facing a potential lawsuit over this.
Can see agents restraining a 48-year-old man, repeatedly punching him, blood visible on his shirt as he screamed. We've since learned that man is the father of 3 Marines, 2 active Marines, and 1 Marine Corps veteran.
Legal experts say the ICE agents used unlawful force and assaulted the man, the father of 3 Marines, because that man had committed the crime of landscaping while Latino. Check out the story at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Titan, who writes, "Every single victim of ICE should bring about huge lawsuits." I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about Donald Trump digging in against the Epstein files. As a journalist says, the files include lewd pictures of Donald Trump. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.